Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, JV, coming to you live this Monday morning. Today is the start of another week. It is November 25th, 2024. And in this video, as we are, by the way, we're only 3 days away from Thanksgiving. So it's going to be a very short week for many of the people in this country. A lot of them have already started flying to their various destinations to celebrate Thanksgiving. Many people have already started their vacation as of today or as of last Friday. So it's going to be a very short week. Not for me, though. I got to work 7 days a week. So I'm working today all the way up to Sunday. And the poor people like myself who lives with my parents, I have to continue to work 7 days a week. I'm a poor man. I live with my parents. And yes, that's basically the reality of the situation. Anyway, that is precisely what I wanted to talk about in this video. I want to talk about how I'm actually going to be turning 46 next month. So next month I'll be 46 years old, God willing, and if destiny allows me to get to my 46th birthday. And I'm still living with my parents. And despite all the facts, despite the fact that I live with my parents and I'm on the verge of turning 46 years old, if I was single, which I'm not a single guy, but if I was single, I would absolutely still be getting plenty of women out in public and through various settings, through dating apps. I've done it in the past, as recently as 4 years ago when I was single. Cheers, mate. I'm drinking my coffee, my sugar-infested coffee here. And I firmly believe that I would still be getting plenty of girls. I mean, when I go to the gym, for example, I usually go I used to go at night when I was unemployed way back in the day. And I would go at night anywhere between 6 to 8 p.m. when it was really crowded and I couldn't even, take care of my routine, my exercises, because there were so many people using the machines that it was virtually impossible to basically use all of the machinery. But I remember there was a couple of girls that you can tell by their body language, you can tell by the way they would exercise around the same vicinity where I would exercise, that there was some interest there on their part. One of them actually used to work there at the front desk. She was a receptionist, and later on, I believe she quit that job, and you would only see her working out at the gym. She was probably around early 20s back then, late teens, early 20s. And it was very obvious that there was some interest there, that there was some attraction. And not to brag about my past and what I've done in the dating scene, which has been very lackluster, to tell you the truth, but I've always had I've always had luck with women. Ever since I was a little teenager. I wasn't as good looking as I am today. I wasn't as good looking as I am today, and yet I still managed to get women, or not women, but get the attraction of women back in the day. When I was 13, when I was 14 years of age, I remember it. I would get invited to be their best man at their brother's wedding, and I turned them down. And these were girls that were, 1 or 2 years older than I was. So I've always had a lot of success with, a lot of luck with women throughout my years in school, throughout my previous jobs. I remember when I was working at Safeway. I used to work at Safeway when I was in my late teens, early 20s. And I was a courtesy clerk. I was a bagger, basically, collecting carts at the parking lot. And then I would come in and bag groceries, and I would ask customers, you want plastic or paper? Paper or plastic? and that was basically my job. I remember there was these twin girls. They were white and very attractive, both of them. One of them was a little bit more attractive than the other, but they were really, really cute. And I remember one of them always giving me a big smile, always telling me that she was happy to see me working there, that I would brighten up the day. And it was so obvious that there was interest on her behalf, but I never pulled the trigger because I was too much of a coward. I was too much of a shy guy. I was a very shy person, and I was single at the time. I didn't have any girlfriends. I was actually going to college, and then I was working that part-time job. And the girl would always give me those types of little remarks whenever I would go into the supermarket. I think her other twin sister was already dating someone. She was the hottest. She was the hotter of the two, by the way. I gotta be honest. The hotter of the two twins was actually the one that was already dating. The other one was actually single. That's the one that was that would give me these remarks. But I mean, it's, I've had a lot of success with women, and even now that I'm about to turn 46, I mean, obviously I've been in a relationship now for 3 years, and I love my girlfriend, and we're very happy, and we're planning some extraordinary things in the foreseeable future. If I was a single man at the age of 45, 46, I'd still be, I have no doubts in my mind, based on my looks, that I would be able to approach women that are probably 15 to 20 years younger than I am. Probably 15 years younger than I am. I wouldn't want to date girls that were in their early 20s. Maybe in their late 20s and early 30s I would. And I don't think it would be, I don't think I would have an issue dating them. And so what am I trying to get here? What am I trying to get at with this video? Well, the message of the video is very simple. It doesn't really matter if you are living with your parents and you're in your mid-40s. You can still get a girlfriend if you want to, if you're a single guy. You can still manage to approach women in public settings or go on online dating and meet women. Even though, as I mentioned before, I wouldn't want to date an American girl for the reasons that I explained in that video. And I'm not going to rehash what I said here on this video, but if you wanted to meet women in other countries, you can always go to other places. You can go to Latin America. You can go to Eastern Europe, and I guarantee you would have a lot of success. I remember when I was in London also. This happened back in June of 2022, 2 years ago. I went to London with my family, with my 3 sisters and my nephew and niece. And we stayed out there for a week. And I remember one time I was at one of the underground train stations that's very close to Trafalgar Square, which is like the main in central London. And I remember there was this cute-looking blonde girl that was standing there by herself, of course. And I approached her and I asked her, because I didn't know how to, at the time I didn't know how to utilize the underground subway station system in London. It's pretty confusing, actually. And so I approached her and I started talking to her. Can you please explain to me how this works? Where do I have to get like a card? How do I feed it into the machine so that I can get more credits and I can go from point A to point B? And she was very kind enough to actually help me out. And all of a sudden, like I'd say within 40 seconds or so of the conversation, here comes her boyfriend or her husband. I don't even know what it was. And the guy's first thing was like, "What is going on here?" He said, "What's going on here?" Thinking that I was hitting on his girlfriend or wife, when all I was doing was basically asking her how to, how to use the card there. the underground subway system in London. But he was very, very insecure about what was going on with his lady. I mean, man. And then she had to explain to him that I was just a tourist in London, that I didn't even, that I didn't know how to work the subway station, and that she was explaining to me how it worked. But I thought he was going to actually swing his fist at me. I thought he was getting ready to come after me, but she diffused the situation immediately by letting him know that nothing had happened. That it was just me asking questions about the underground subway system. And I remember when I was in London, I would go to Oxford Street. I went to Leicester Square, Trafalgar Square. I went to the main attractions, the world famous streets where a bunch of these coaches, not coaches, but I mean these guys that would do cold approaches out on the street. I went there and I was intrigued just to see if I saw anybody approaching women. I didn't see anybody. I only saw a black guy approaching a couple of extremely tall ladies, but this was inside of the train station. As they were going up, he was coming down and he was just shouting. He was just shouting at them. But other than that, I didn't see any approaches taking place in London. And I remember talking to these two Italian girls that were working at one of the clothing stores. And yeah, they were pretty cold to be honest with you. There was no traction there on their part. I was trying to start a conversation, but they were very, very robotic, and I ejected immediately after 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes. I was there only for about three and a half minutes. But there was a lot of women in London. I don't think I've ever seen that many tall women in one particular place in my entire life. These were like giraffes. These were like very, very tall young ladies. And I never had a chance with them. But I still maintain, though, that that if I was a single man at the age of 45, almost 46 years of age, living with his parents, I still believe that I can meet women, and that it's no big deal. You can still hook up with chicks, even if you are living with your parents. It's not a deterrent. I think that if you are living with your parents and you're a single guy, you should be approaching girls. Even if you're a bald-headed guy, even if, you know, as long as you're in decent shape, as long as you're a decent-looking guy, especially if you're an above-average-looking guy, you definitely should be approaching women, even if you live with your parents. I don't think that should be a deterrent for you to go out there and meet women and have a great time and find yourself a girlfriend and eventually settle down and have a wife. But anyway, that's the message of this video on this rainy Monday morning that I wanted to talk about. I know that I was talking about the world famous Johnny Burba in one of my other videos, Jonathan O'Halloran. I won't rehash what I said about him. He recently committed suicide at the age of 41. He was a very, very popular dating coach back in the day in London. And he triggered a lot of memories of what it was like back then to approach girls in public settings the way that he did. And I think it's still possible, even though the feminist movement is trying to extinguish that era of the PUA industry. I still think that men should go out there, approach women in a calibrated, honest, very, very chauvinistic type of a way, and start conversations that might lead to friendships, that might lead to relationships. You never know. That's the most natural thing that a man can do. That's what men used to do for millennia, before the advent of the internet, before the advent of social media, before the advent of online dating. That's how men met women. It was no big deal. to approach women out in public. And I don't see any reason why this cannot continue until Vladimir Putin decides to detonate a nuclear weapon, and then we're all fried and the rest will be history. But until that happens, I think men should continue to approach women, even if you're a middle-aged guy like myself who lives with his parents. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching the video. I will talk to you right before Thanksgiving Day. Take care.